Hi everyone, it's Tawney. In today's video, I wanted to do a full face of makeup using nothing new and using a bunch of products that I haven't touched in a while. This is an idea that I've constantly seen Allie Glines do, and I think it's so genius because it gives her a chance to test out her old makeup and makeup she might not have used in a while, and it also gives her a video idea, which, people don't always think that way, but it helps. So I've already moisturized with my Neutrogena moisturizer, and I'm going to go in with the e.l.f. Mint Melt Cooling Face Primer. I really like this primer the times I've used it, but it is very sticky. I know that's the point of the primer. It's kind of supposed to be a dupe for the Milk Primer, the gripping primer. I think it's Hydro Gripping Primer, something like that. I like it, but the stickiness bothers me. So I kind of don't gravitate towards it because of the stickiness. Like, you can see the shine all over my face. Like, I'm definitely getting the tackiness. And now my fingers are going to be sticky. That's gross. For foundation, we're going to be using the Maybelline Dream Ermine Cover Full Coverage Foundation with sunscreen of SPF, an SPF of 50. I'm in the shade 112 Natural Ivory. I really like this foundation anytime I've used it. It was one of those foundations that I initially bought in a shade a little bit too light for me, I think, and didn't really like it, and then got rid of it right away. I wasn't interested in it. It wasn't something that I wanted to use again. It was just nothing about it was appealing to me. And I think I didn't give it a good enough shot because I watched a video by Nikita Joy. She is an Australian YouTuber, and she was raving over it. And I'm like, we have oily skin, we both have oily skin. She's a little bit deeper skin tone than I am, but 2 shades or something. It's not that, it's not a bold change. It's not super noticeable. But so then I was like, well, surely I can get away with wearing this. So I went out and bought it again and tried it, and I was like, well, holy crap, I really like this. This is a foundation that it's full coverage, but it's not heavy, if that makes sense. When I first used it, I think the shade I had was too light, and I didn't see any of the full coverageness because the lightness of it kind of just took over, and I didn't like that at all. So now that I've got a better shade and are actually paying attention to how it wears, I find that it is one of the prettiest foundations. It's not covering everything. You can still see all my blemishes over here, and maybe I'm just not packing it on tight or too heavy. And I don't honestly like to put foundations on super heavy. I'd rather them just work the way they work, and I just you know what I mean? I'd rather the foundation itself cover everything than me have to go out of my way to do that myself, if that makes sense. And maybe I'm lazy, and maybe that's not what makeup's about, but that's just how I use it and how I work with it, I guess. But I don't mind this. I'm going to go in and just try and cover these spots up a little bit because they're kind of bothering me. It's one of those personal things that's really bugging at me. But I really do like this foundation, and I'm really glad I gave it a second chance because it is just so pretty, and it's a very natural foundation. It's not too heavy. It doesn't looks like it sticks to any of my lines or creases or anything. It just kind of it's nice. And I'm just getting the excess off my hand so I don't have to waste a tissue wiping off the excess. And I'm just gonna go in and pat around my eyes and my nose just to get it a more seamless application. And then for concealer, I have the Flower Beauty Light Illusion Full Coverage Concealer. Mine is in the shade Fair, and I have not used this. Okay. It smells a little weird, but not too bad. I haven't used it in a very long time. If I break out, I'll make sure to talk about it in another video so you guys, are aware that don't let this expire because you'll break out from it, or at least I would, you know what I mean, that you would know what to expect or could expect. I saw this while I was out somewhere, forget where, that's not, whatever, and I was like, well, I need to try this out again. It's something I haven't really used in a while. I remember really liking it, but just kind of like had it shoved to the back of my little drawer that I put all my concealers in, and just kind of went to something else, something that was like on the top, something that I like constantly went for. And I like this concealer. I would say I bought the foundation in this range, the Light Illusion foundation, and I didn't like it. It's dewy, but to me, it's so dewy that I just couldn't make it work. Like it was too much, and I ended up looking like really greasy and disgusting. Like I understand maybe for dry skin it would look really pretty, but for me, it was a heck no. Like flat out no. Like this is not working. I need to try like I need something different because that was not at all for me. So I tried the concealer at the same time and really liked the concealer. I think it's like a dewy concealer and like more of a like not so mattifying, which is really good for the under eye because the under eye can get very matte very quickly. I think I'm like looking a little bit juicy and plump, which is like what we want our skin to look like because that's a good thing. But so I do really like the concealer. It's just the foundation I'm not so wild about. Okay, so my eyes are watering really bad this morning, and usually I get like a runny nose in the mornings, but today seems to be doing okay. Like it's stuffy, but not so much runny, which I'd rather take stuffy because I can breathe out of my mouth. I can be a mouth breather for a day. I know that's gross to some people. I'm sorry, but now I'm going in with the Rimmel Stay Matte face powder. Mine is in the shade Natural. And I'm just putting that all over my T-zone and a little bit on my cheeks with just what's left on the brush, but nothing, like I'm not going in and using like a full dip of it or anything. This is a really good face powder. I really like it. I think it works really well. And I really like it because it does mattify without like looking too like sandpapery. And you know how sometimes like when you get matte, you just tend to look very washed out and like all your texture shows. I don't feel like this face powder like really does that for me, which that's a good thing because I definitely have a lot of texture on my cheeks. Like I have a lot of like big pores. That's the thing. And I don't feel like that's like a big issue for me with this product. So I really like that. So now I'm going in with the e.l.f. Ultra Precise Brow Pencil. Yeah, it is e.l.f. I had to make sure. I wasn't totally sure if it was or not. And I have no idea what the shade is because there's no shade marked on here. So I'm just going to go in and fill in my brows. If you're new here, hi, glad you came to check out my channel and my videos. I have really thick brows, so I mainly just like fill them in. I don't do anything fancy. I don't really like try and make them look super, you know, like super trendy or whatever. I just fill in my brows and I just, you know, whatever shape they are is what I wear, and that's how I do it. And maybe I'm just like simple and lazy and whatever, but I like it that way. I have a hair appointment coming up this Friday, like in a week from now. I'm filming on Black Friday, so the day after Thanksgiving, and I have a hair appointment next week. I follow my hairstylist on Facebook, and like we're friends and stuff there, and oh, I am the shade Natural Brown. It says it right there on the little top. And then I'm going in with the ColourPop Brow Boss Gel in Clear. I follow her on Facebook, like we're friends, and she had posted that she had some Thanksgiving Day openings, like before Thanksgiving openings. And I was like, you know, it's been a while since I've had my hair done, like a really long time since I've had it done. And I was like, I kind of want to get my hair done. And then I'm like, my eyebrows have looked really bad lately, and I've been plucking them like as best I can, but nothing compares to like a regular wax and like getting the full treatment from someone who like can see more than what I'm, you know, used to. So I was like, I'm going to schedule an appointment. So I messaged her and I'm like, hey, I don't need anything like, you know, as soon as possible, but I'm just like, I'd like to get my hair done at some point. So I'm going on Friday, and you can't quite tell because my hair's pulled back, but I had a balayage done with a little bit of blonde highlights like sprinkled in, and they have kind of like slid down to like here, so this is all my root color, and I'm totally okay with that. And like I like this kind of a look because it's easy to like let go, like if I don't have time, or you know, sometimes you don't have the money to get your hair done, or there's like more important things to do than like your hair. I can let it go without worrying about like it looking terrible. Like whenever I dyed my hair like blonde, you can tell because my roots are like not black and not super brown, but they're pretty brown. So, like, it's not something I could let go and be comfortable with, at least not in my mind. So I did this as kind of a way to, like, mainly with like staying at home because of lockdown and stuff. I did it so I didn't have to get my hair done as fast, which has been like a really nice, like, you know, so then that way I can like let it go, not have to worry about it. But I've been starting to notice that it's just kind of looking boring up top, and I really wanted to get it done and like do something, you know, with it. So that's kind of, I was like, I think I'm just going to go back and get a refresh and just make myself feel a little bit better. I went in with the e.l.f. Putty Eye Primer. It's just my typical eye primer I've been using lately. I just really like it, so I just figured I'd go with it. So for the eyeshadow palette, I'm very excited about this. I'm using the Disney Mulan palette. This is like one of my favorite ColourPop palettes. I forgot to mention, it is ColourPop. This is one of my favorite palettes. I use this all the time, but I haven't picked it up recently because I keep a lot of my palettes on a shelf, and it's on the top shelf, and I have them all like categorized by size in different baskets and standing different ways. So this one kind of got like pushed to the back. So I like saw it and I was like, I have to use this palette. Like, I love this palette. And I think the shadows are really pretty. It's a really good like color story. Like, it's easy to find looks to use with this, and it's something that like really, you know, speaks to me. So I want to get more use out of it, so it's not just like sitting and I'm like, oh yeah, I like the palette, but I haven't touched it in forever. So I am going to be using this today to create a nice neutral look, because that's what we've been doing. Just went in with Fighter, and now I'm going in with Strength, and I'm going to pack that in the crease, and I'm just going to stay right where the crease is and just kind of like let the brush blend itself, like blend the shade out. I did this with my look for Thanksgiving yesterday and really liked the way it turned out. I had been using the Natasha Denona Glam palette and did a nice like basic look. I only used like 2-3 shades and it turned out really good. So I was like, I want to keep, you know, messing with this technique and see how I feel about it. Now I'm going to go. No, we already said that. Okay, I use the same shade, but I swear this eye is looking lighter than this eye. This eye looks more red and like a rust color, and this is showing off more orange. And I swear I used the same shade. Like, I know I'm dipping into the same shade. Like, what is going on? And now I'm going to go in with a small brush that looks like this. It's really good for your inner corner and brow bone, but I'm actually going to use it on my lid. I found this is a really good technique that I've started using a lot recently, and I'm going to go in with Strike a Match and really pack it on, but then I'm going to like tap it off because it's a glitter, and I don't want to get like super chunky flakes all over my face. So I'm just going to go and pat that on the lid. And then usually on my last go through, I will spray my brush after I've dipped into the shadow, of course, because I don't want to hard pan my shadows because then they're like no good. Okay, I really like the way that turned out. I think that looks super pretty. And I'm just pulling a little bit of that into the inner corner. But I'm going to use my highlighter for today, which is the Maybelline Master Chrome Molten Gold highlighter. And I'm just going to go over that on the inner corner and brow bone. Yeah, that looks really pretty. I really like that. Whew. So now I'm going to use my powder brush and just flake off any glitter. A lot of people say this is a good technique, but for me, not quite sure it quite works. But you can see all the glitter just chilling under my eye. So that's nice. But it's fine. I don't mind it. Our bronzer for today is the Maybelline Suntan Bronzer in Silky Matte Bronzing Powder in Suntan. I can never say the names of bronzers. Anything else, and I can tell what the name of the product is and then the shade. But for bronzers, forget it. This is one I bought and used a lot after I bought it, but then kind of stopped using it suddenly and never really picked it back up. And it's a really good product, and I know a lot of YouTubers really like it, but I just never really I don't know, it didn't quite hit me like some other bronzers do. Like the L'Oreal Lumi Bronze It Bronzer, or the Primer Infused Bronzer by Blush. That one's my favorite. It's one of the best bronzers I have in my collection. I will always have one of those on hand because I just like them so much. And the blushes are good too. So Elf, if you're listening and you want to come out with a highlighter that's primer infused, let's do it. I have a feeling it'd be great. Just don't screw the pooch. Okay, I feel like that added a really nice tone to my face. It's not too warm, it's not too cool, it's not leaning in a contour shade. I actually really like the way that looks, so I'm gonna have to keep using that. For blush, we're using the Essence Satin Blush in Satin Coral. This is one of my favorite blushes, and it's only $3 or $4. It just looks so nice on the skin, and so skin-like that it's not really a super bold blush that oh my gosh, your blush looks terrible. It's oh, you're wearing blush. It's one of those blushes. So I would definitely recommend picking this up. I wonder if they have more shades, but from what my Ulta has, it's always this one and maybe one more. So I don't quite know. And then for highlighter, we have the Maybelline Master Chrome in Molten Gold, like I used in my inner corner. And this one I haven't used in a while, but I know I really liked it when it came out. And for good reason. I mean, look at that. You can't, not every highlighter does that. And I just have to say, you need this highlighter in your life. It is so good. I wish drugstore brands would make packaging prettier so we could pretend we weren't using drugstore brands. So we could get that bougie feel, but from a cheap $10 product. You know what I mean? Sometimes this plasticky packaging that just kind of looks real chintzy isn't quite hitting it like a really nice compact, say this one from Tom Ford. This to me is luxury, and this not so much. You know what I mean? And maybe I'm just being overly picky and just expecting too much, but you know, that's how I'm feeling. So now I'm going in with the CoverGirl Exhibitionist Mascara in Very Black. And I know they've had variations of this mascara, but I've never tried a single one of them because I'm not sure how they actually work. I wanted to try the one in the black tube, which I think is Exhibitionist Extreme or something, but I just never really got around to testing it out. Then there's a new one that they have, which I'm not sure what that is. It could be a mascara primer. I'm not totally sure, but it looks pretty interesting. But I'm just always worried that it won't work for me because sometimes CoverGirl mascaras are very hit or miss. One time they'll work and the next time they won't. And it just kind of depends on like, you know, the formula and the way the brush is shaped. And sometimes it's just too expensive to take the risk and try it out than if I were to like wait for reviews and stuff. So I'll have to look it up and see if it's actually good to see if it's worth buying or if it's just going to be, you know, another waste of money. Does anyone else get like slight PTSD from doing their mascara? And then you know how your eye like twitches and you like squeeze your eye really tight around the mascara wand and like mascara gets everywhere, like especially on your lower lash line. And then the next time you go to do it, you're like panicking because you're afraid you're going to do that this time. Yeah, that's me. That was me today. I did that yesterday when I did my makeup. And let me tell you, I'm still nervous about it. It still worries me that like, you know, I'm going to do that again, and I don't want to screw up my eye look, especially because, like, I really like this eye look today. The brown shade I used is leaning a little bit like a brown with, like, a red and orange undertone, and then mixed with the glitter I used also has a pink undertone, and I feel like it's making this look, like, really pretty, and I'm really here for it. I love a good look with a really bright shimmer or glitter, so it really makes your eyes pop, and I have blue eyes, and I think it's, like, looking really good on my eyes. So for my setting spray, I'm using the Catrice Illuminating Prime and Fine Dewy Glow Mist. And I'm just going to spray that all over the face and then we'll get to lips and we'll finish. I just sprayed my ear. Did anybody catch that? And I got my mouth. I just sprayed my ear. I like went like this right in my ear. Love that. So glad I did that. I guess I have to set the little bit of foundation that I put on my ear. That was nice. That was so nice. Love that. So for lip, we have the Maybelline Color Sensational Matte Lipstick in More Buff, $6.99. And it looks like this. This is the packaging. Really cute and sleek. And then there's the color. I've used this before and really like it. But I sometimes don't gravitate toward these types of products, especially lip. I'm more of a liquid lipstick or a lipstick and no in-betweens with the occasional gloss, but very rarely. So something like this isn't quite a lipstick, but it's not a liquid lipstick. So it's one of those like in-betweeners. I really like the color of it. I like the formula of this. I find that, like, I have to not touch my lips to anything, like kissing or, like, drinking from something or eating or anything where I would come in contact with something because then it does not last. But if I, like, wait a little while, then it, like, looks really good. So I'm hoping I can keep it looking good for a while today. But yeah, this is the finished product. I really hope you guys like this video today. I really like the way my eyes and my face turned out. I think it was really cool trying out these old products to see like what I like, what works, what I want to keep using again, and to see if there's any products that I need to get out and use some more, which I definitely know I have some of. Let me know what products you want me to test out, old or new. I'd love to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Ring that notification bell down below so you get notified on when I upload the next video. I will see you then, guys. Bye.